Yo, I'm Zach, and this is 90 Church. If you like what you see, follow us on Facebook and give our YouTube channel a subscribe. We're in chapter 4 of Thessalonians, going through our series, Here's Hope. Today we're looking at Paul's advice for the church with verses 11 and 12. Let's check them out. Make it your goal to live a quiet life, minding your own business and working with your hands, just as we instructed you before. Then people who are not believers will respect the way you live, and you will not need to depend on others. Well, folks, you heard it here first. If your job's not manual labor, you're using those handsies, you are unbiblical. End of story, get out of town. See you next week. What's that? You're unsatisfied with my answer? Good, you should be. We're going to use this passage as an example to practice our exegesis, which is just a fancy word that means biblical interpretation. We've said it before, we'll say it again, the Bible was not written to me or to you, but it was written for me and for you. To bring ancient texts into modern times, we need to understand what's going on and then bring the meaning itself forward rather than just the literal words. Let's take a look at the problematic phrase, working with your hands. As it turns out, the term working with your hands is from the Old Testament. They're borrowing from it. In fact, see Isaiah 5:12, the NIV translation, for a really clear example of this. And when it's used in its context, it just means to work, whether that job uses your hands or doesn't. It's a poetic metaphor, and more importantly, it's not just me saying it's a poetic metaphor, it's documented in Scripture, and you can look at it yourself. So let's look at this with our knowledge intact here. Make it your goal to live a quiet life, minding your own business and working with your hands. And then he tells us why he says this. Then people who are not believers will respect the way you live. When we view it in that way, the meaning is a little bit clearer. It's this, I think. You are God's representatives in the way you live and the way you work. Do both to God's glory. Now you might say, Zach, this was a stupid exercise. Clearly, it didn't only mean to work with your hands. But the point I'm trying to make is that we can use this same practice to help us with passages that are less clear. Next time you run into a problem passage, do some digging. Give it a shot.